Rasi, and today I'll be guiding you through a sequence that I've put together. These movements, I wouldn't normally put them all together, but I've been toying around with the idea and finding some really cool preparations to lead us there, so I'm excited to share that with you all. Today's practice is pretty much propless, but of course you're welcome to use any props that you would like. You know that I'm a major prop fan. But for today, I think it's more of an exploration of the body, what it does, maybe where it doesn't go, and then being able, at your own discretion, to incorporate props into this practice as you repeat it. So we'll start the practice with our legs out in front of us, and have your legs about your mat's distance apart. And we'll start by externally rotating the upper legs and internally rotating the legs. And go back and forth a few times, trying to keep the legs straight. You may notice that you hit sort of the boundary and then your knee bends and then the leg will go out. But for right now, keep the legs straight. And as you're rotating, can you initiate the rotation as far up into the hip joint as possible? Okay. So sometimes our eyes take us directly to our feet. And for this practice, how far up into the hips can you move? And then from there, you're going to continue with the same internal and external rotation of the legs, but have the knees bent. So you'll externally rotate. You may notice, there's a little more range one way or the other with the knees bent. And again, you may notice that one leg internally and externally rotates a little bit more than the other, depending on the size. And then from here, we'll come into a windshield wipering of the legs without moving the pelvis. So it's still the movement of the legs internally and externally rotating. Okay? So right now, internal rotation, external rotation. External rotation, internal rotation. Okay. And now you'll add the hips. So as I take the knees down to the side, right? My legs do go down, but I'm also allowing for the pelvis and my spine to turn. And come back through center. I start with the legs, I get to that stopping point, and then I add the hips, and then I add the spine. And you do that a few more times, moving through center. Okay. The legs, the hips, and then the spine. Okay. You can have your hands down on the ground too. Okay. And that might actually help to give you a little more feedback when your body is moving, especially when your spine is moving, because the backhand will become lighter the further you turn. Okay. And then come back through center, lie down onto your back. Bend your right knee into your chest. Your left leg can be bent or straight. Hold behind the thigh. And then here you could use a strap. Then press your right heel up towards the ceiling for Supta Padangusthasana 1. And from there, take your leg a little bit out to the side. Pull it into the midline. And over to the left. I'll do that a couple of times, taking the leg out to the side, through the midline, and to the other side. Keeping both hips rooted down into the floor the entire time, so the leg is abducting and adducting. And from there, sustain your leg. Find some circling of the ankle. Circle the opposite direction. Point and flex. And pull your right knee into your chest and send it down to the floor. Bend your left knee into your chest. Hold on to the leg. And press the left heel up toward the ceiling. And find some movements, taking the left leg out to the side, through center, and over to the right. And notice as you're sending the leg back and forth, right, that there isn't much rotation. You're not trying to rotate it to the side and then internally rotate it as it comes through center. And return to center, hold on to the leg, circle the ankle around a few times. Move the circle in the opposite direction. Point and flex the foot. And then bend the left knee and release the leg down to the floor. So we'll repeat the same movement that we did seated, but this time supine. Bend your knees, having your feet about as wide as the mat again, and then shift the legs over to the left. Bring them back through center and over to the right. And as you move side to side, right, you can work without using the hips, so just the legs, and then add the hips, and then maybe the spine. Okay. And back through center, legs, hips, then spine, and creating a more fluid movement, like how we would normally move. Arms anywhere that they're comfortable. I'm choosing cactus arms for right now, where there's a bend at the elbows. And bring the head into the picture, so taking the head in the opposite direction as the legs. As the knees go to the right, look to the left, and as they go to the left, look on over to the right. And return to center, roll over to one side, and come onto all fours. Take a few rounds of cow and cat, inhaling as you lift the head and chest, exhaling as you press down and round. And maintain the movement of cow and cat as you take your hands over to the right 45 degrees. Hands still about shoulder width apart, so you're in a little bit of a side bend. And continue with those cow and cat movements. The right side of your body is slightly shorter, and the left side of the body is longer. You may be able to move into spaces that you're unable to find or move into when you're in the normal cow and cat position, or how we normally set up for it. And return to center and take your hands over to the left about 45 degrees. And continue onward. So the right side of the body is a bit shorter, left side of the body a bit longer. I'm sorry, the left side of the body is a bit shorter, right side of the body is a bit longer. And come back to center. Notice if there's any change. And inhale, back to center. Reach the right ball of the foot behind you. Reach back through the heel. Pulse forward. And drive back. And the next time you reach the heel back, spin onto the inner edge of your right foot, so that external rotation of the leg. You can kickstand the bottom leg or keep it where it is. Firm your outer left hip and take your right arm up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, lower the right hand back down, followed by the right knee. Reach the left ball of the foot back. Pulse forward and back. And then from there, reach the heel back, turn onto the inner edge of your left foot, shift your weight into your right hand, push the right hand into the floor as you elevate the left arm. On an exhalation, lower your left hand back down, followed by the left knee. Okay? Make your way down onto the floor. You can come onto forearms, slide yourself back, come down down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower all the way down to the floor and take your arms down by your sides. On an inhalation, lift up into Shalabhasana, lifting your legs, your arms, head and chest. On your exhalation, lower back down. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, back down. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, back down. Take your forearms forward so that your elbows come underneath your shoulders, slightly forward, and coax your heart forward. On an exhalation, lower your chest back down to the floor. Pick yourself back up from the floor, so either from the forearms or from the push-up leg position. And come into downward facing dog, tucking your toes under, lifting your hips up and back. Pedal your feet, dropping one heel down to the floor, and then the other, finding some movement in the ankles and the hips. You can shift a little bit side to side. And from there, return to center. Walk your feet up towards your hands. And have your hands on something, either the floor or blocks. As you inhale, lift halfway up. On an exhalation, lower back down. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, return to the floor. One more time. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release back down. Take your hands to your hips, bend your knees, and inhale, make your way all the way up to stand, Tadasana. On your inhalation, lift your arms, sit back, Utkatasana. Then take your hands to the outsides of the thighs or the knees, and press your legs out into your hands as you push your hands back into the outside of the legs. And then you start to feel all this action in the thighs and the hips. As you're maintaining the resistance, see if you can slide your buttocks back a little bit more. As you exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. So that setup from Utkatasana is a good foundation for your lunges. As you bend your knees, look forward, step your right foot back. Okay. And so this left leg is going to do exactly what you were doing in Utkatasana. You can press your hand into the leg and the leg back into the hand as you reach back through the right foot. And then stay here on the incline or inhale, lift your arms up, keep the resistance of your left leg. So it's still doing that action of pressing out as your outer left hip pulls in towards your pelvis. And then on an exhalation, lower both of your hands back down towards the floor. Keep pressing the left knee to the left as you step your right foot forward about hip bone distance apart. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, step your left foot back. Take your right hand to the outside of the right thigh and find that resistance that you did in Utkatasana. Then you can stay there as you press the left heel towards the back of your mat. Or inhale, lift the arms up, maintain the resistance of the right leg, pressing to the right as the outer right hip pulls in. So instead of the hip moving out, knee presses out as the muscles of the outer right hip firm. On your exhalation, reach forward, lower the hands. This time you'll step back to downward facing dog. Then from here, lower down onto the knees and come to sit. So, similar to the position that we started in, take your feet about your mat's width apart. Drop both of your knees down to the left. Okay? And so you come into this sort of like figure four flipped pigeon leg on both sides. Okay? Then as you inhale, come back through center and exhale over to the left. Okay? And again, making that pigeon leg in the front foot. Inhale back through center, over to the left, and then over to the right. And so you might be traveling as you alternate back and forth. Okay. So this time we're going to add a little bit more of the rotation of the body. So take your legs over to the left and then turn. And inhale back through center, over to the right, and turn. So it's like Bharadvajasana if you're familiar with that twist. And inhale, come back through center. Drop your knees once again down to the left, and you'll find your pigeon-like legs. So from here, I want to press my left outer edge of my foot into the floor, so the pinky toe side of this part. I press, 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 press down. And then I want to look and see if I can feel a little space between my ankle and my mat. I can't actually put my fingers underneath that gap, but I can feel that there is some space. So I'm not pressing my ankle down into the floor, but rather the outer edge and lifting my ankle up. Alternatively, right, you could like Jedi it and have your hand over your ankle and imagine that you're pulling the top of your ankle up. That might be useful. So now as I press my left outer edge of the foot down into the floor, now I want to see, can I press my shin into the floor without negotiating the ankle, right? So you're not going to let the ankle push down to let the shin press down. It doesn't matter whether it's actually touching or not, right? You could be up here, but you're sending the direction down into your mat. Then press your knee down toward the mat. Then your thigh, the outside of your thigh. And your left sitting bone, press that down into the floor. Press, 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 press down. Then take your hands behind you, lean back, and see if you can keep the activity, the external rotation of your left leg, and lift the left leg away from the floor. Then as you exhale, lower the left foot and turn to the right. Okay. So set up the legs again. Okay. Press the outer edge of your right foot into the floor. Press, 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 press. Then see, right, is there a little space between your ankle and the floor? Then direct your shin down towards the floor, followed by your knee. And with each part of your leg, the intensity builds. The outer thigh, the right sitting bone. Press, press, press the entire leg into the floor. Then lean back. See if you can keep the activity of the leg as you lift it away from the floor. Then as you exhale, lower the leg back down and switch sides. Okay. So now that we're back on the left side, you'll do it again. Press the outer edge of the left foot into the floor, the shin, the knee, the outer thigh, the sitting bone. So your left leg is entirely in active external rotation. You can lean back again, or this time have your torso upright, hands can be down or up, and lift the foot away from the floor. As you lift your foot away from the floor, imagine as if you were going to take your heel and lift your heel higher than your knee. And then you start bouncing and shaking, and it's all good stuff. Cramping, it's all good. Okay? Maintain the external rotation, the active external rotation. Then as you exhale, lower the leg back down. Okay? Fold forward over the thigh a little bit, so it's a little bit like your pigeon pose. Right? You could take the hands out in front of you, lower the head, release it to a block, all that good stuff. Then from here, lift up, okay? And think about the back leg a little bit. Can you press the inner edge of your foot down into the floor? Can you press your inner right shin into the floor? Your inner knee, your inner thigh. Can you direct your right hip bone down toward the floor? The right flesh of your buttock. Then the whole entire inner right leg, press it down into the floor. Lean forward, place your hands on the floor, keep the activity. Can you make the right foot lighter or lift the right foot away from the floor? With control, lower the inner edge of the foot to the floor. Inhale the torso upright and switch sides. Take your right leg forward, press the outer edge down, outer shin, knee, thigh, right buttock. Press, 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 press. Then leaning back, using the hands or not, can you lift your right foot away from the floor? And actively try to lift your right heel higher than your right knee so that your inner thigh is spinning up toward the ceiling. Maintain the steadiness of your breath, and with control, lower the foot to the floor. And as you exhale, fold forward. I have my bolster here, so I can lower my forehead and have some support there. And then from there, check in with your back leg, pressing the inner edge of the foot into the floor. Press, 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 press. The inner shin, the inner knee, inner thigh. Direct your hip point down toward the floor. And then press the whole entire inner leg down into the floor. Lean forward, take your hands to the floor, and see if you can make the left leg lighter or lift the left foot away from the floor. Maintain the active internal rotation of your left leg so that your heel is higher than your knee or wider than your knee. And even if it's at the same level, right, that idea of it becoming lighter and the knee becoming heavier against the floor. Then as you exhale with control, lower the left foot back down, upright your torso, and turn to the other side. So now we'll play with both legs at the same time. Press the outer edge of your left foot into the floor, inner edge of your right foot. And so it becomes sort of this mind trick too, right? Or this game for your mind. Like, where am I placing my attention and my awareness? Press the outer edge of your left leg into the floor. Press the inner edge of your left shin into the floor. Right shin. Outside of your left knee. Inside of your right knee. Outside of your left thigh. Inside of your right thigh. Your left sitting bone, your right hip bone. Press both legs into the floor. Now as you press both legs into the floor, can you feel that there's this lift of your spine? So keep pressing the legs into the floor, lift the spine, add the Bharadvajasana twist, turning to the left. Then as you inhale, return to center, okay? Lean forward. Lift your right leg away from the floor, make the foot light. You could also do this upright, right? It's gonna be a lot harder if you're upright, but that can be another option, and as well without using the hands. Then lower your right foot to the floor. Lift your left heel, imagine lifting the left heel higher than the knee. Stay here, or keeping the inner thigh spinning towards the ceiling. Straighten your left leg, and then bend. And straighten your left leg, and bend. And one more, straighten the left leg, heel higher than the knee, and place the foot back to the floor. Okay? From there, fold forward for a moment. And inhale, come on up, and switch sides. So again, both legs at the same time, active internal and external rotation. Press the outer edge of the right foot into the floor, the inner edge of your left foot into the floor. Outer right shin, inner left shin. Outer outer right knee, inner left knee. Outer right thigh, inner left thigh. Right sitting bone, left hip point. Press, 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 press. And as you press both legs down into the floor, lift the spine. Take an inhale, turn to your right, Vajrasana twist. Press the legs as you turn. And inhale, return to center. Okay. Lean forward a bit or keep your torso upright. Then make the left heel lighter or pick the left foot away from the floor. And then with control, lower the inner left foot down into the floor. Lean back. You can use your hands. Initiate the lift from the left heel, even though the knee might be the first thing to come out. Then from there, stay or straighten your right leg, keeping the external rotation, or the right inner thigh spinning up toward the ceiling. Straighten and bend. Straighten. Try to lift the heel higher than the knee. Bend the leg. Place the foot down. Fold forward. And as you inhale, crawl yourself back up. Windshield wiper your legs over and come into downward facing dog towards the front of your mat. Okay, you can pedal out your feet a little bit. Right? A lot of work, a lot of heat happening at your hip joints. And then from there, walk your feet up towards your hands. Okay. Bend your knees, similar to how we started with the lunge. Step your right foot back, and then external rotation. Turn your right inner edge of your foot down to the floor, and then the outer edge of the foot down into the floor. Bend your left knee, so it's like that flipped pigeon. Shape it once again. Move your knee out and your buttock in. Take your forearm to the thigh or your hand to the floor. Lift your top arm up and overhead for Utthita Konasana. Then as you exhale, circle the arm down, reach it forward. Come onto the ball of the right foot and step your right foot forward. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step your left foot back. Spin your left foot down. So first the inner edge, and then the outer edge of the foot reaches into the floor. Then from there, okay, find your flipped pigeon shape. Pull the buttock in and the knee out. Take the top arm overhead, side ankle pose. Then as you exhale, reach the left arm forward as you spin onto the ball of your left foot and come into plank pose. From here, turn onto the outer edge of your left foot, shift your weight into the left hand, push the hand away, and lift your right arm up, Vashisthasana. So you can also take that pose that we did at the beginning of the practice with the knee down and spinning onto the foot. On an exhalation, lower your right hand down, spin back onto the balls of the feet. Then from there, roll over onto the outer edge, shift the weight into the right hand, push the right hand into the floor as you turn the torso like you did in side angle, and lift the left arm up. On an exhalation, lower your left hand back down to the floor, roll onto the balls of the feet, lift up and back, down dog. Take your left knee forward, coming into pigeon pose, and slide your right leg back. So for here, you'll fold forward over the front leg, okay? You can use props to support or come back into that same position. Externally rotate the leg a little bit as you turn, and then bring yourself back down. So either way is a good option. And place your hands underneath your shoulders again. Tuck your back toes under. push into the hands as if you're in plank pose, right? So it's like a three-legged plank right now, or a three-limbed plank right now. And then I'm going to step my foot back, lift up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step my right knee forward as I slide my left leg back. Untuck your toes. You can take the option of leaning onto the right hip and make your way down. And on an inhalation, place your hands underneath your shoulders. Slide forward a little bit, tuck the toes, push into the hands of your shoulders. Your shoulder blades are wrapping around the outside of your rib cage. As you slide back into this plank pose and lift yourself up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next exhalation, lower down to the knees. Okay, return to this shape. Okay, so we have your double flipped pigeon open shape. Okay. And as we move, we're going to layer on. So this is this sequence of poses that I was referring to at the beginning of the video. So windshield wiper to the right, then windshield wiper to the left and take it into the Vajrasana twist. Then untwist a little bit, and you're moving your pelvis over your thigh bone. So I'm gonna come forward, I'm gonna reach that leg back, tuck, actively internally rotate the leg, and come into pigeon pose on my forearms. I'm gonna lift my chest forward and up. So it's like if pigeon and sphinx had a baby, this is what it would be. Okay, and then from there, I lean onto my left hip, pull my right leg back, and then shift over to the other side. Okay, twist to the right, unwind a bit, fold over your pigeon leg, and then actively work the leg back, spin onto the ball of the foot, and place the top of the foot down into the floor. Find your sphinx arms as you coax the chest forward and up. And as you exhale, take your hands underneath the shoulders, lift up, slide your left leg forward, and come back to center. So we'll do that one more time to each side. Twist, unwind. As I fold, I'm going to bring my leg back, roll my pelvis over my thighs, come into sphinx arms, lift the chest. I roll back onto my left hip, pull my right leg forward, switch to the other side. Push the legs down as you turn to the right. Unwind a bit to fold over the right leg. Slide the left leg back, adjust your hips. Pull your chest forward and up. As you exhale, take the hands down, lean to the right, onto your right hip, pull the left leg forward, bring both feet to the front. Okay? So now you'll straighten your legs into a Dandasana position, and similar to how we began the class, right? We externally rotated the legs, keeping the legs straight, and internally rotated them. And if you need more space, right, you can take the legs and move them out to the sides. Okay. And then back to Dandasana. Take your left knee, or bend your left knee, placing your left foot onto the floor. And you can use your left hand to sort of prop yourself up to lift your spine up a little bit. And the same rotation, keep the right leg straight. Turn onto the outer edge of the right foot. Okay. And so you can see in my body, right, as I turn, the right outer edge of my foot doesn't come all the way down to the floor, though I have quite a bit of external rotation. Okay. And I'm going to pause. Take your right hand behind you with your fingertips facing the back of your mat. And you can take this left arm, bring it to the inside of your left leg, Take an inhale, exhale, turn for an open Marichyasana. Then, see if you can turn the outer edge of your right foot all the way down. So in order for it to come down, you might have to move your pelvis like we did in the windshield wiper leg. So let the pelvis accompany the movement. Okay. I'm still pressing my arm into my leg as I rotate the right leg to the right. Okay? And we'll switch sides. So straighten your left leg, bend your right knee, place the foot on the floor. You can hold onto the leg and prop yourself up. Take your left hand behind you, left fingertips behind you, and externally rotate the left leg. Back and through center. Back and center. And now take the right arm to the inside of your inner right leg. Continue to rock the leg back and forth. And this time, take the pelvis along for the ride. Okay. Turn the leg down, push into your right foot. Let the right hip lift up and away from the mat. Push into your left hand, especially as you rock to the left. And then come back to center. Okay, release your right leg forward. So now we'll add another movement. Bend your left knee. Take the left arm to the inside, prop the right hand behind you, and this time lean back a little bit so that you're making the pose longer. Right? Sometimes when we're propping ourselves up, we prop right behind the buttocks. This time you'll take the hand a little bit further back. Okay? So press into the forearm, rotate, and as you rotate, allow your left hip to lift as you take the right outer edge of your foot all the way down to the floor. And then keep the outer edge of the right foot all the way down onto the floor. Push into your left leg, lift your hips up, disconnect the arm from the leg, and lift your right arm up and overhead. So it's very Vashisthasana-esque. This is Wild Thing, or when you flip your dog, rock star. I'm sure there's other names for it as well. Then as you exhale, slowly lower yourself back down. Come back into that twist. Lift, turn, come back to center. Right palm down. Let the right leg rotate to the right. Hips come along for the ride. Lift your left heel as you lift your buttocks and reach the top arm overhead. Then exhale. With control, lower yourself back down into the twist and turn. Other side. Unwind. Bend your right knee. Take the left hand behind you a little bit further back than before. Your right arm to the inside of your inner right leg. Turn the left foot to the side. Push into your left hand. Then push into the outer edge of your left foot, into your left hand. Lift your right heel. Lift the arm up top. And the arm can come overhead like it did in your extended side angle. Then as you exhale, slowly lower yourself back down. Come back upright. Right, little twist. Unwind from the twist. And again, roll the outer edge of the foot to the left. Let the right hip accompany it. Push into the foot, push into the hand. Lift up and back, lift your buttocks up. And then exhale with control. Lower yourself back. Find the open twist. Inhale back to center and slide your right leg forward. Okay. We add. Okay. So, you can continue practicing that, or from what we've been doing, take both feet out in front of you, rock the knees down to the left, turn to the left. Unwind from your twist a little bit, fold over your front leg, make that transition back, and fold over the legs. Then from there, walk your hands underneath your shoulders, press yourself up, tuck your right toes under. Then from there, you're going to lift your right knee away from the floor, push into the hands like that three-legged plank, or the three-limbed plank. Roll onto the outer edge of the right foot, lift the left leg, sneak it back behind you. Both arms can still be on the floor. Then lift the left arm, lift the hips, stay on the ball of your left foot. As you exhale, slowly lower down and into your twist. As you inhale, unwind. And then from here, you can straighten both legs and start again. Or what I'm going to ask you to do is from here, bend your front leg like the pigeon pose that you just did, and take your front leg back. And I'm going to shift back. Okay? So then from here, I'm going to turn to the right. I unwind from my twist, fold forward, reach the arms forward. Then slide my leg back into my pigeon. From here, take my hands back, lift myself up. I'm going to tuck my toes, find that three-limbed plank. Lift up. Then I roll onto the outer edge of the foot as I slip my right foot behind me. I push down into the outer edge of my foot, the outer edge of my left hand, lift the right arm overhead like side angle. Then from there, I lower myself down and come into the open twist. And inhale back to center. Can straighten the legs. Okay. So you can do that one more time. Slide back onto your mat if you've shifted or have completely lost the mat at this point. Okay. Come into the same position. Turn to the left. Bhadrasana. Return to center. Come into your pigeon. Slide the hands underneath you. Find the three-limbed plank. Slip the foot behind you. Lift the left arm up. Lower the hips down. Turn to the right. Return to center. Take the bent knee, slide it behind you as you roll, right? Roll your hip to the right. Bend your front leg. Turn to the right. Unwind. Fold over the right leg. Transition your back leg into pigeon. Stretch the arms forward. Inhale, come back up. Take the hands underneath your shoulders as you tuck your left toes. Three-limbed plank. Slide the right foot up to the back of your right leg as you come onto the outer edge of your left foot. Lift the right arm, take it up and overhead. Exhale, control your way down as you take the right arm to the inside of your inner right leg. Turn to the left. And then inhale, return to center. Okay. So, you made it with me this whole time. Awesome. It's great. It's a fun little flow, and it moves right through all these ranges that I think are really exciting and fun to play with, and I really enjoy being able to slow it down so that you can feel and embody the movements that your body is making and not just, doing something to do it. There's real purpose and meaning behind working methodically like that. So thank you for sticking with me. All right. So from here, you're going to come on down onto your back. Cross your right ankle past the top of your left thigh. So again, we've come into the same position that we've visited time and time again. The right leg is an external rotation, the left leg is internally rotated. You can stay here, call it a day, bring your arms out into cactus arms, or take your left knee, pull it in towards the chest, hold onto the outsides of the legs so that your arms can rest a little bit. Then from here, lean your body over to the left so that the muscles or the fibers in the outer right hip, they now get used to a different angle. And so the sensation of the stretch will change as you change the vector of the shape. And inhale, bring yourself back through center. Lower both feet to the floor. And switching sides, take your left ankle past the top of the right thigh. Turn the leg out. Stay here, or draw that right leg in. Support the legs, right? This could be a strap. You could place a strap over both legs and hold them there, just so the arms can rest, the head can be peaceful. Unwind the legs. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Okay, you can give yourself a little rock side to side or circle. You can also take this into happy baby, okay, holding on to the outsides of the feet, or right underneath the thighs as well, and rock side to side. And as you rock to the right, try stretching your right leg out. And as you rock to the left, stretch your left leg out. And repeat that. And then back to center. Hold the legs into the chest for a moment. And then as you exhale, place your feet down onto the floor and slide your legs forward, coming into Shavasana. And let your jaw be soft. Deepen your eyes down into their sockets as you allow your eyelids to be restful. And you can stay here for as long as you'd like. If you have a few more minutes, you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, deepen your breath. Awaken your fingertips and your toes. And bend both of your knees, placing your feet on the floor. Roll over to one side. And take a moment there, pause as the backside of your body lifts away from the mat. Take a breath or two into the back of your body. And then using your hands, gently press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. And we'll take a moment here, noticing the state of your hips, your legs, and all the way up into the spine, shoulders and arms, head. And take your hands together in front of your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. I bow in honor to the light and teacher in you all. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.